friends, so we're going to learn about Jim Dine, and he is a painter, and he's still alive, and he's making lots of different kind of tool. He really liked to look at tools that people use, so like there's a wrench, and he liked to observe them, which means to look at them really, really closely and draw what he saw. And then he added this kind of like dark colors in order to make it his own, right? His most famous one that he made was this kind of art brush effect. Now he made it with all black, and he had all of these different paint brushes that we see. This is him right here. He's still alive, he's still kicking, still doing really good stuff. But I really enjoy when he made all of these different tools. You can see this is a big wrench here, a hammer, scissors, right? These are all different kind of styles that he did. So today I just want you to tell me what you learned about Jim Dine. It can be what kind of style he liked to use, what colors he liked to use, what did he draw, and that's what we're gonna do today. I hope to see you all soon. Bye. Hello friends, so we are going to make art that's inspired by Jim Dine, and he really loved his paintbrush kind of styles with a watercolor effect at the end. So we're going to learn how to make that today. Now, the easiest way for you to draw a paintbrush is to have lots of them in front of you. Now, I know some of you probably don't have a lot of different paintbrushes, so you can always use a Google search and you can look up the word paintbrush for that too. So what you're gonna do is you are going to take a pencil today, and you are just going to take your time to draw them. And all I'm doing is I'm gonna start with like the big ones over on this side, and these are going to be my big kind of style brushes, right? And make sure that you add kind of like the bristles of your brush. I really want to see some really cool brushes today. Then I'm gonna have maybe a smaller brush now. This one I usually use more for painting. I feel like I control a little bit better with this brush. But who knows, maybe you guys like a different one. And we're just kind of going along and drawing different kinds of brushes. If you only have one style of brush, that's okay, right? You can use whatever style you know really well. And I just want to see just 5 brushes, that's all. I don't need to see a lot of brushes. Okay. All right, and now I'm last doing my last brush here. This one is a little tiny brush. And there we go. So we have 5 brushes here. And that's it for today. Remember, if you look on Google, there's lots of different brushes that you can use in order to do that, right? And I'm really excited to see what you guys make. If we're doing this in school, you guys probably will have lots of different brushes that you can look at and draw from what's called observation, which means that you look at it and see it that way. So here, I just looked up paintbrush here, and look at all these different styles, right? We could have drawn this one. We could have drawn this one. You could even draw this one, right? So there's lots of different styles of paintbrushes for you to use too. All right, so I'm excited to see how your paintbrushes look, and make sure that you have 5 different ones. All right, have a good day, my friends. Bye. All right, friends, so now we are going to trace our art. And the way we're gonna do that is we're just gonna use a marker, and we're just using our black marker to just trace everything that we drew, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going back, making sure that everything's ready to go, okay? And that's all we're doing today. So I should just see your already drawn paintbrushes, right? And then you tracing over them with a black marker. And if you have a Sharpie, I prefer those. I think they look nicer in the end, but if you have a black marker, that's okay too. And that's it for today. So post this onto Seesaw. I'm excited to see your artwork. Bye, my friends. All right, so here's the last part. This is the part that I think you guys will really like. This is when we add the colors. So Jim Dine, he only used black, but I think that you guys can use others. We're using watercolors. Make sure you have a cup that you are not going to use for anything else except for coloring, right? And I did a rainbow. If you don't want to do a rainbow, that's okay. Remember, you're going to make a little pool. And from there, I'm just going to add just a little bit to my top of my brush, right? Because all the brush isn't covered in paint, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add kind of like a pool that my brush is going to be on. So I'm just doing like a little pool here, adding that. And this is probably going to be your favorite part. So after I add my pool, what I'm going to do is I'm really going to make sure that I have a little puddle. I'm going to take my brush over to where the other brush is, and I'm going to dab my brush to my finger. Do you see how these are controlled? I'm not trying to get paint everywhere. I'm just going back and forth. And look at that, I just added what's called splatter art, which is when you add like a splatter effect. Now I'm going to change my color, so I really got to take off all the paint. And I'm gonna go to orange now. And yet again, gonna color in that little bit. And now I'm gonna make just a little area. If you want the two colors to kind of mix at one point, that's okay. Now I gotta add my splatter art, so really making sure that it's nice and wet. Take my finger and just go up and down. I'm not doing a lot here, right? But look at how much splatter I just got there. Did I go and throw my paintbrush in the air and bring it down to get that color? Not at all, so you shouldn't either. I just tapped it on my finger. So I'm now gonna move over to my beautiful paintbrush here, doing the same thing, right? Adding that little bit right at the top. Adding a little bit there. I'm noticing that I don't have enough water, so I'm gonna go back to get some. And now, back at it again. I'm just tapping. And if I wanted to go kind of back to where the others are, that's okay. And then the end, your art should kind of look like this, right? You see that some of the colors, they got a little bit into the others, but I really like how it turned out, right? And I'm excited to see how yours turns out too. I think that you guys will have a lot of fun with this one. So I want you to turn that into Seesaw after it's all finished, right? All 5 of them are finished coloring. And make sure that if you are doing this at home, that you clean up after yourself. All right, I know that this can get really splattery, right? And it can get everywhere. But that doesn't mean that we don't clean up after ourselves, all right? So I hope that I see you all soon, and I hope that you do well. Bye, my friends.